Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. This is Stephanie Figueros, and in today's video, we're gonna talk about how to build your team in short-term rentals. Let's go. So you're wanting to do short-term rentals and you're wondering, how do I manage this? How do I find my team? What do I need? We're gonna talk about those things in this video. So your team, just like in any other business, is super important. And who you pick can seriously make or break your success in short-term rentals. So the first thing that I'll say is every single vendor, every single team member that I've ever have had on my team, they're either already have experience with dealing with short-term rental operators, or they are very open to learning. Like, I can't even highlight how important this is. I'll give you a concrete example. When I was looking for a short-term rental in Crystal Beach, Texas, it was my second one, and I was told by 3 lenders no. They didn't like what I was doing. I was simply asking for a second home loan, something that I've already used previously, but in a whole different market. I knew that I could do it. I just needed to find the right person. And it took me to get to either it was like my 3rd or 4th lender that finally said yes. And the reason why they said yes was because they understood short-term rentals. They actually own short-term rentals and they knew exactly what I was trying to accomplish. And they said yes. And I was able to have them fund my property. So when you build your team, it's important to really just pick the right people. And if you can't find it, yes, you can. You can find a short-term rental friendly person. You just got to keep looking. We'll start with the 2 that I just mentioned right now, the lender and also the realtor. Assuming that you're going to buy, these are two types of individuals that you will have to come across in order to get your short-term rental or to buy one. So getting an STR friendly lender and an STR friendly agent is super important to start when you're looking to buy. I'm an investor agent, so I am a realtor out in California, and I am a short-term rental operator myself. So I would be one of those people if you're actually looking for a short-term rental in California, specifically Southern California. I'm your gal, just let me know, and I'll get connected with you on that piece. Another team member that you're gonna wanna have, and this is probably your most important one after you acquire the rental, is your cleaner. Your cleaner is going to be everything for you. They're not just going to be there to clean. These individuals are your eyes and ears. They are the people that tell you when things are broken. They're the people that you probably rely on to go check on your rentals when you're not there. They are the ones that have referrals and recommendations for handyman, electrician, plumbers, pest control, lawn people, everything. These people are the most important. Honestly, they're the real MVPs, if you ask me. In all the markets that I'm in, my cleaners are my people. And it's so important that you treat them with the respect that they deserve. And you also show them and shower them with as much love and understanding, because these people work super hard. So your cleaner and where to find them. You can find your cleaner in a lot of ways. My favorite are Facebook groups. You really can't go wrong, and you'd be really surprised to find cleaners looking for work in your market. So if you haven't tried Facebook groups yet, I definitely recommend that you do. I believe there's actually a group called Airbnb Professional Cleaners, and that is a great way to start because that covers the whole US. So there's also smaller markets that have cleaning groups specifically for short-term rental operators and cleaners to connect. So I recommend that you try that. Another way to find your cleaner is you can definitely go through Yelp. You can go through Google itself. Referrals are great. I actually very much encourage you to find a neighbor in your market and ask them who their cleaner is. You may not get a yes, but you could try. The worst thing they'll say is no. And to be honest, a lot of people get scared about sharing their cleaners, thinking that it's going to take away from their own operation. But if that person already has the cleaner, so I have an abundant mindset. So sharing your cleaner really shouldn't be that difficult. Your cleaner, if you have a good relationship with them, that should be strong enough to withstand a new client that you refer them to. If anything, your cleaner will actually thank you for it, and they'll remember you because you helped expand their business. Another great way to acquire a cleaner is through your realtor. So chances are your realtor, especially if they're a short-term rental friendly realtor, they will have connections to these vendors in that existing market. So give them a shot, just ask them to see who they would recommend, and they'll point you in the right direction. Another vendor, another team member is your handyman. So your handyman is probably the number 2 on the list. Things are gonna break, and it's important to be able to have a handyman that you have a good relationship with. That way, when things do break, and they're gonna break in the most unexpected of times, you can rely on your handyman to go, whether it's in between guests or possibly during a guest stay. So having somebody that's able to fix, jack of all trades is a really good team member to have.
We fixed it.
I actually recommend that you find your cleaner first, because usually they already have a handyman that they work with, and they're not going to refer you somebody that they themselves don't want to work with or they don't trust, because if they're going to give you their business, they want to make sure that you have the best person on your team, because it only helps them too. The next member of your team, actually, I think this should probably be your first member, is your channel manager or your property management software, also known as a PMS. So this isn't actually an in-person team member. I consider it an AI member, so to speak, but your channel manager is really your first employee, because this is what ties your calendars on Airbnb and VRBO together, as well as any other automation, your Slage locks. It can connect also, if you have insurance, usually connects to that as well. So your channel manager is your first employee. It's probably your easiest one, but that is definitely a member that you should have on your team, whether they're virtual or they're in person. Another team member that you're gonna wanna consider to have on your team, depending on your location, pest control and pool. So with pest control, I don't have pest control in every single market that I'm in, but in most of my markets I do. And it's important to be able to have a pest control person that's able to work and be flexible and come in between turns. So for all my markets, my checkout time is 10 a.m. and my check-in time is at 4 p.m. And I give the expectation to all my vendors, especially my pest control, that they have to come in between that time. And if they can't for some reason, we're gonna just have to reschedule them for the next opening that they have. So pest control is super important. Usually your cleaners are gonna have a recommendation. Another one is your spa person or your pool cleaner. Usually a pool cleaner is separate that of the hot tub person. Sometimes your cleaners can handle the hot tubs depending on where you are. But the pool cleaner is super important because you're gonna want them to come after every turn. And also once a week as well. In Orlando, my pool cleaner is super awesome. He's helped me in a lot of occasions where I've had issues with the heating of my pool. He is the eyes and ears that's able to take a look at that for me. Another team member is your STR property manager. If you aren't self-managing, this is gonna actually be your most important person, because a strong short-term rental manager is going to either elevate your profits, or they're going to make your life hell. So very, very important that you are very selective with who you choose to manage your property if it's not going to be yourself. Truthfully, I think everybody should property manage with either an STR consultant or virtual assistants, but I understand it's not for everybody, so I myself co-host. And if you are looking for a property manager because you don't want to deal with the headache of handling guests, it's really important to really ask good questions with your property manager. There's different ones. There's the bigger ones that you've heard of, probably like Vacasa or Evolve. I encourage you to consider a co-host. And the reason why, it's not just because I'm a co-host, but co-hosts, I have to say, they just have better quality. They typically don't have hundreds of properties that they oversee. They themselves are very selective with who they pick to partner with the owners. But a lot of co-hosts have better quality. They themselves own properties, so they tend to treat your property just like theirs in the rotation. That's how I am. The other piece too is that a lot of co-hosts will work with you in terms of, it's your primary account and they're the co-host on it on Airbnb. So while you get the credit and they build your superhost status, they do all the work. So STR property managers, our co-hosts, are super important factors and team members to have on your team. If this is something that you're interested in, I encourage you to try me out and talk to me. I do have a company called Vivid Iconic Properties. We're based out of Southern California, but we operate all over the country. So I'll have in the link below my calendar and my website. That way, if you are interested in a consultation, they're totally free. We can talk and see if we'd be good fits together. The last team member I want to talk about is your virtual assistant. Some people have one, some people don't have one yet. But depending on how you grow, at some point, you're not gonna wanna do everything in your business. You're gonna not wanna have to handle every single inquiry from a guest. You're not gonna wanna have to call every single vendor for a quote. Virtual assistants are amazing and they're awesome to have. And they really free up your time so that you can continue to expand your business. I highly recommend, at first, run it yourself, get comfortable, know the business, but once you start to get some experience and some seasoning, get a virtual assistant. And if you have questions about that, let me know. I can go into a whole video about, how to find virtual assistants, and especially if that's something you want to see, comment below and let me know. That way I will record a video for you in the future on that. So that's it, guys. Thank you so much for watching. Hopefully you are going to get out there, crush it, build your team, scale, be short-term rental successful, and I'll see you in the next video.